Hi everyone, my name is Justin Wigard. I use he/him pronouns and I'm a University Distinguished Fellow at Michigan State University. You can reach me on Twitter at Justin Wigard or you can email me at wigardju@msu.edu. Today, I want to briefly summarize my graphic medicine keyword, unflattening. So as a quick primer, the term stems from Nick Susanis' graphic monograph, Unflattening, which he also defines as a key theory that he defines as a simultaneous engagement of multiple vantage points from which to engender new ways of seeing. So for Susanis, flatness manifests in stagnant and one or two dimensional ways of being in, thinking about, and seeing the world. Therefore, flatness is something to be dismantled, to be unflattened. I argue that unflattening already exists as a significant critical framework undergirding much of graphic medicine, particularly in three ways: transdisciplinarity, expanding perceptions, and critical making. So first, attending to unflattening as a critical practice pushes us to actively consider those professions and disciplines beyond our own. Each of us have a perspective, a vantage point shown here that we can all see other vantage points from. Within graphic medicine, this further manifests by embracing transdisciplinarity. Susanis himself draws on Root Bernstein's findings that, quote, scientists versed in the arts possess a distinct advantage in making discoveries, end quote. The core conceit then is to unflatten our thinking by understanding seemingly disparate disciplines as intertwined strands of a complex weave. This is akin to graphic medicine's inherent blending of multiple disciplines, to be sure, but graphic medicine also brings attention to the complex processes of healthcare, caregiving, medical practice, insurance, embodied experiences, and seeking treatment all in the same, world. Indeed, even the act of engaging with graphic medicine for what Ian Williams terms its therapeutic potential, as in the Bottle-Planatia, requires threading together visual, textual, and medical or scientific literacies to actually read the medium. Likewise, creating graphic medicine involves thinking critically about how to distill personal, mental, professional, and bodily experiences into a textual, verbal, communicative medium for a wide audience. This practice often involves finding a balance between scientific or humanities jargon, conveying complex, invisible, theoretical ideas like pain or mental illness in an illustrative manner to many audiences. So, put bluntly, then, graphic medicine is inherently transdisciplinary. And so, second, unflattening extends beyond overlooking field-defining boundaries and instead calls for a radical expanding of perceptions. This calls for Second, unflattening extends beyond overlooking field-defining boundaries, instead calling for a radical expanding of perceptions by treating graphic medicine itself as a site of unflattening, understanding the practice as one of multifaceted narratives and perspectives, patients, doctors, specialists, communities, educators, etc. Here we see all of our vantage points blending, colliding, and creating something multifaceted in this image from unflattening. In the Graphic Medicine Manifesto, M.K. Surwiak et al. State that, quote, graphic medicine resists the notion of the universal patient and vividly represents multiple subjects with valid and, at times, conflicting points of view and experiences. So this notion of all perceptions being valid is really key. Doctors and patients are able to visualize experiences as a way of finding common ground, and others are able to create or read graphic medicine to find solace that their experience is not unique. Comparing this idea to Susanis' Unflattening, which is itself a manifesto in all but name, similarities abound. We see resistance to singular points of view, actively working to see experiences from multiple perspectives, comics being a uniquely situated medium for complex discourse, right? Indeed, Susanis tells us that, quote, understanding, like seeing, is grasping this in relation to that, end quote. That each additional perspective generates new vantage points of understanding. So every new perspective considered in graphic medicine only enriches the field. So third, unflattening also calls for critical making, catalyzing us to think by drawing or illustrating, pushing at the rigidities of academic scholarship, of rote educational practices, and flattened one-dimensional thinking about the human condition. Drawing, creating, and illustrating all engender new ways of sharing discourse and distilling experiences, even leading to innovative ideas previously unseen until inked on paper, shown here in this image from Unflattening, with all of our varied and different perspectives actually creating and making up a whole new one. Its effect can also be seen in critical successes like the Eisner-winning menopause comic treatment, or Raina Telgemir's smile, even the popularity of El Defo and Hyperbole and a Half. Graphic medicine likewise hinges on the capacity to visualize subjective and personal experiences: pain, mental illness, grief, therapy, wellness, and so on. As cartoonist Linda Berry notes, the act of drawing is a primal one. When drawing, quote, the hand is experiencing the same world in a different way. It's you, but not you, unquote. Unflattening requires us, in many ways, to attempt to visualize experiences and perceptions and ways of being in the world through sequential art. Drawing can solidify our understanding of the world around us, or surprise us by working through an issue we may not have been aware of. So in sum, unflattening not only calls for transdisciplinarity, active connections between viewpoints and critical making, the keyword already acts as a framework for achieving this in graphic medicine. So, please find me on Twitter at Justin Wigard so that we can connect and continue the conversation.